to a special substitution because I was originally going to do a draft with someone. That didn't happen, so we're going to just have a little chat here about the network. It's been a little over 2 years now, nearly 2.5 years, and I'm here with the good friend of mine, JGoth08. Say hello, JGoth.
Hello, y'all. From America.
Yeah, we go way back, yeah, to your Rage and Reject days. So yeah, it's been a while, and it's been a while since he and I have talked. We've both had the network 2 years now, nearly 2.5 years, and I'm here with the. Sorry about that, guys. I thought that was off.
Is there an echo?
Yeah, the damn thing came on, and I thought I turned the mic off, and it didn't turn. That's what I was doing right before the thing. I was trying to mute that so I could see the chat. Nah. Anyway, yes. So it's been a while since we've talked. So
yeah, especially on video, it's been some years, definitely.
Yeah, we're like that was before there was even Google Hangout. That's how long ago it was, guys. It's been that long. Oh, so
yeah, I've yet to use this. I never had anybody really to want to do this kind of thing or know about Google Hangout, so I never really had the chance to try it out. So this is my first time.
I've only seen other people use it, and I've been in a few and been able to figure out, okay, this is how it works. And I did my own recently, like I did a live reaction to Money in the Bank, and yeah. So you haven't been watching WWE at all, really. You've been out on the Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
I have only watched the first few episodes of that, and I liked what I saw. But back to the network, you gave it up because there wasn't at the time you had it. You were like, I want to watch all the old Raws, and you weren't able to get them. And now unfortunately they're all up. And you told me once I get everything back up and running, I'm gonna get it back because
it's way more convenient than trying to search through Google and trying to find these little, whatever they can spread on there. But, I definitely want it for convenience. I like NXT. I used to watch that, but I watched it about a year ago. It was good.
The recent Dallas show was really, really good. The one before WrestleMania. You've got Shinsuke Nakamura now, who's really good. Austin Aries.
Yeah, Austin Aries. Yeah, I love. I watched that one New Japan show, Wrestle Kingdom 9, with the GFW. I guess they kind of marketed or whatever. I don't really know, but whatever.
Yeah, I watched that too, and then I tried to watch the second one, and the audio wasn't synced in my the way I was watching it. And like I would see things, and then I wouldn't hear the sound until a few seconds later. So, and it just like it takes me right out of it, so I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, I've had that have happen several times on movies and other stuff, so it really takes you out of the experience. I tried to watch Wrestle Kingdom 10. I was like, I don't know. I think it was something similar to that. I know I wanted to watch it, but I never ended up doing it for whatever reason.
Have you seen the Total Divas show at all?
No, I'm not a. Even though I watched Legends House, I can't say I hate reality TV in total, but not really into the divas. Not enough to watch them that fashion, whatever.
It was a guilty pleasure of mine for a while, and now I really don't care. Like, I and with this recent thing that's supposedly a setup for that show, I'm like, why could you like? And like you kind of see how silly that some of these women are.
No.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed recently, I just finished recording a review for it. Was that for one of the episodes of it, that most of the nitros, if not all of the nitros, are finally up now from 1995 to 2001. So
I was watching 1997. I watched almost every Nitro of that year, but that was from YouTube when it was all on YouTube, and it was terrible quality. So I really wish I got to watch it in HD or something like that.
But yeah, I noticed today. I watched an episode, and it was a bizarre thing. Like I didn't see anything particularly offensive about it. I watched it and I was like, why was this edited? Like they edited out an entrance
Huh.
or two entrances, and I'm like,
Was it copyright or something? I don't think
no,
so.
it was like they showed the entrance before, and it was just the outsiders coming out, and then they brought out these three women because this was Russo's thing, all with big boobs and like zero wrestling ability, and they brought them out, and yeah, that was it. That was what they cut out. And there was a few things that happened in the ring, but nothing that really. Like the only thing I can think of was that they did the crotch chop before the women came out, because it was like the creative control guys, the Harris brothers, that brought the women out, and I'm like, why was that cut? Like I because I saw like I found a clip on YouTube with all the stuff that was the setup for that, and as well as that intro, as well as the match that actually happened with them. And I'm like, like if they cut out the whole thing, I would have been like, okay, but unless there was some nudity that I missed in the thing, because this I don't know if that was a replay that I saw or what, but yes, apparently there's some stuff like that that's where stuff is edited. I don't know if you were if you ever subscribed to Vince Russo's brand thing, but for a while there, he was, and I'm pretty sure he still is. He's reviewing every episode of Raw, or commenting about all the Raws that he had something to do.
I watch his YouTube channel and I watch the previews. I've never subscribed to it. I paid for it, but I heard
I did for a while, just out of mild curiosity and to get his comments, but then after a while you get sick and tired of hearing him pat himself on the back so much. And his little yes man that he has around him, like, oh, you were so great, Vince, you were so great, not at all criticizing him at all. Like honestly, I'd much rather that if someone was there and like said, okay, Vince, seriously, why did you do this? Because like honestly, even his early stuff that he did, you could make some criticisms about it. Like, no need to rake him over the coals for everything he's done, but at least not until you get to.
Ever since this YouTube channel, I've kind of gained a little bit more respect for him than I used to, but I don't really know all the details. I don't really like to act like I know, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like he's criticized more for things that really is out of his control. I'm not really sure though. I don't know. I mean, some things, yeah, he has some really crazy
Mm.
views in wrestling, but I don't know.
So we're gonna go like the whole Bash in the Beach thing. I take his. I say, well, okay, he didn't necessarily lie. He may have withheld held some details, but like he didn't. He I don't believe Hogan's thing, and I don't believe Eric Bischoff's story
Yeah,
about it. I hear all the stories, and I'm like, okay, here's what I think happened, and the closest one story that matches up is Vince Russo's, and like that's the only period I would really criticize him for because like and what he said, I watched the last the last two things I reviewed were well, the last three shows were the one before 99 show before Halloween Havoc, the one after it, and Halloween Havoc. He said that Vince would take certain things and modify them and make them better. You can see
yeah,
certain things that Vince might have said, okay, other Vince, if you do this, it'll be better. You can see the little things like that without actually changing his stuff. Like, yeah, that sort of thing. But back to the topic we were like I listed in the video, the network. Obviously the have you said you went back and watched a lot of the documentary stuff that they put up.
yeah.
Uh, did you watch any of the Monday Night Wars stuff?
I watched a little bit, but not too much. I was going to, but right before I did, I said no. I just not want to pay for the network until they get all the brawls up. So I kind of was. I was always planning on coming back to the network. Just wait until they had more content, I guess.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna. I got it up right now. I'm gonna tell you in a minute how much of Raw they do have up. Ooh, looks like a lot. About the Monday Night Wars thing, I think it's a lot like the Legends Roundtable. I don't know if you ever watched that. A guy on here of Eric Santa Maria, had this great quote. He would like it about until halfway, and then all the bullshit starts. And it's pretty much the same with the Monday Night Wars thing. The minute you get about halfway through each episode, they start to criticize everything that WCW did. Like it's like, oh, they did all this wrong, and then they did
Yeah,
this. I'm just saying what's.
that's one thing I don't like about the WWE is they always act like WCW did this wrong. They've never been great. They was just lucky. They kind of try to downplay WCW as much as possible. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I'm really, okay. By the looks of things, here it looks like they've got just about every single Raw up till about 2005,
Yeah,
and then you've got a couple of token episodes, and then you've got from about 2012 onward,
yeah.
on there. So
At least I saw the Raws I want to watch. I want to watch 99. Wait, I already watched 199. 97, 98, 2000, 2001, 2002. Those are probably some of my favorite years.
yeah, about a year or so ago, they put up like an Attitude Era section where with all the Attitude Era ones.
Yeah.
As far as SmackDown goes, I think they've got roughly most of the same period. They've got, like once Brock really came back fairly recently, they like uploaded like a whole bunch of the ones with Brock on them. They're continuing to do that, like, and like I told you, they it's only like from like, yeah, 2006. There's like not much there. I think like the live sex celebration, a couple of the Slammy episodes that they got there, and like the next one where next and the one from like 2008 is the one where next to show up and go all in. I'm suspecting what they're going to do next is either do a bunch of Thunder and a bunch of the Saturday night shows WCW did, or go and upload a bunch more SmackDowns or something. Possibly if Kurt returns, there's a hot rumor going around about that. But NXT is definitely the star of the network, I think. I think as far as like original content, that's the show to watch. Breaking Ground, I did a review of that with OK Fabe a while ago, once the first season had finished up. And we went right through it. So I'm not going to do that again here. But like, man, that was a pretty good show. And then you see Tyler Breeze now, and you're like, oh, because he was like he was featured a little bit there, and you got Baron Corbin featured on throughout that show, and like him a little less, but like Tyler Breeze, it was like what were they thinking? Oh,
yeah.
Like they brought him up, and like Vince is like, I don't see it. How? I don't see it.
That's the reason I stopped watching NXT. Is just like I just felt like when they hit a certain place, they're going to go to WWE, and they're probably going to be buried. And I don't know. I just felt like it'll be a waste of time to get invested in these people. I don't know. I really enjoyed what I saw, at least.
Like I said, I heard good things about Lucha Underground. I know you're so into that. I've got the entire first season somewhere, and I just gotta find time to watch it, because like John Morrison, big favorite of mine. I really wished like they because it's like a half-hour show. What's a half-hour show? An hour. Okay. They're like eventually they get more time, and or they get like it would be on like all.
So here's the thing. I just almost every wrestling company, the less time they have, the better. Sometimes you want more time, but like TNA, when they was 1 hour, they was really, really good. So I don't know. I think they, like NXT, cram all that action into that 1 hour. It really helps the show.
Well, I think to be like really successful, you need at least 1 2 hour show.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And some wrestling guys like in charge of creative, but like a business guy that knows he doesn't know jack shit about wrestling should just take care of the side of it and not touch that. Or he does know what he's talking about, like in Vince McMahon's case, and he does know how to take care of that. But yeah, so I like Lucha Underground. I just wish they had more time. They had a much better budget to work the stuff with, and I just wish I could stick with it, because like there's like I can never say like, oh, that was a bad show of Lucha Underground.
I've watched ever since episode 1, and I haven't missed a single episode. I mean, I take breaks because I can watch them whenever I want. So I kind of sometimes I'll skip a few weeks and then binge watch them. But they're very addicting after you get into them. It's not for everyone, because some people's not into the over the top fantasy stories and stuff like that. But if you can get past that, it's if you just kind of take it as kind of this. Well, wrestling is crazy in itself anyway. Period. And some of the WWE storylines was crazy. Undertaker and Kane, stuff like that. But
Yeah, no, like I look at it like that. Okay, it's a little bit more over the top Undertaker and Kane stuff, but you're talking to a Doctor Who fan here, so that's like that's as wild and out there as it can get, and I buy into that all the time. But back to the shows, I don't know if you're aware they got the cartoon show Camp WWE. I haven't watched any of that yet, so I'm not going to comment about it. I'm not going to say it's good. I'm not going to say it's bad. You got the Edge and Christian show, which was, and it's pretty good. Like I wouldn't say it's the greatest show in the world, but like for as far as that goes, like the funny shows, that's the best one I've seen. They're coming like if you liked their stuff in the 2000s, it's just like that.
Yeah.
They take a couple of shots at the fans, but like, okay, fair enough. Well, the smart marks like us, like but there's this show Ride Along, which can be a bit hit and miss. I just is yet to be a great combo on that show. I think it has potential. It's just like I honestly think they've given up on it after about 4 episodes. I just don't know because it's such a low budget. Like essentially, all you do is you set up a couple of cameras in the car, you record everything that's happens, and when they get to the next town, you take them out, find out what's on there, and it's the end of the show. And if you got an episode out of it, yeah, great. If you haven't, like, oh well. But I think it's a show that clearly has potential. You just got to find the right cast of characters in it because it's just it always. I think it would be better if it were like not after a show because like every show is like, oh, let's go find somewhere to eat. Like essentially that's like the big conversation on everyone. I think there's better ways around it. But
probably not enough personalities like Ric Flair and his crazy back behind the scenes personality. There we
go. Like another show that's pretty good. You got Legends with JBL. Another show that I think they should do more of. I don't know why they stopped at like 5 episodes. It's JBL sitting down with people. I think honestly think if we got this JBL on the mic a little bit more, and the one I remember from like I think it was like 2000, like that period where he retired just before he came back, where he was doing commentary on SmackDown. I think if we got that one back instead of the one we got now,
no,
it'd be great. But his Legend show, it's pretty good. You got him talking to you got the 2-part pilot where he's talking to Eric Bischoff. Then you got him talking to Road. Then you got one here where he's talking to Road Dogg. One where he's talking to Ron Simmons, and then there's the most recent one from March. That's how long ago they had it, where he talks to Michael Hayes. Now, if they weren't all so much like sticking their head up the WWE's butt, like, oh, the WWE is so great. It's so great. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
But you got that Superstar Inc. Another one here. Oh god. They talk about tattoos. I don't know how long for, but then you got another good show, Table for Three. essentially the you got three superstars sitting down having a conversation over a meal. That's all right. I think that one's okay. So I think there's a few more decent mixes in there, but I honestly, what I really want from this is a more regular schedule for these shows.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's the biggest problem. Did you see Swerve? I can't remember. If you said you seen it or not.
No, I don't think I've seen it. No.
Yeah, it's like Jackass, but with WWE superstars involved in some way, whether they're pulling the pranks on each other or pulling the pranks on the public. But it's not something you watch on a regular basis. They just uploaded a season 2. I haven't even watched it, so. But I watched the first season and I wasn't drawn into it as much. Mm. The and then you got the list. Another show where they run they list things. I don't know what the difference between that really and I've watched the list and I've watched the countdown. They're very similar shows. Yeah, I don't see much of a difference between them, honestly. So I think they made the same show twice. Unfiltered with Renee Young. I think the next episode of that's going to be pretty interesting because I think she's talking to her boyfriend, who's the current WWE champion, Dean Ambrose. So that'll be I think that will be interesting. Oh. Rivals is good. Another one I wish they would do more of. They talk about a rivalry. They talked about Trish versus Leah. They talked about the Hardys versus Edge and Christian, I think, and they did Matt versus Edge, which was pretty interesting. I think they essentially just took highlights from respective DVDs and maybe added some stuff that wasn't in each one of those as much. Had filtered in some other people that were involved, and that was about it. Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat was a pretty good one. I just kept having errors when I was watching it. It would replay and wouldn't. I've had a couple of errors with the network, to be honest. But that's the Australian internet's fault. That's not the network's fault. I figured that much out. And you got some original specials. You talk about Legends House because I only watched a few episodes. What was that like?
If anybody's seen the real life, it's similar to that. But if you haven't, it's hit or miss, but it's okay. It's passable. It's fun to watch. I kind of like what's his name? I forgot his name. Atlas. The big black guy. What's his name?
Tony Atlas.
Yeah, Tony Atlas. There we go. I like him. He was entertaining on the show. Let's see. I can't think of anybody's names.
Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yeah, he was pretty funny on that show. I really liked a lot of stuff he says. He was pretty much one of the funniest characters. Him and Jimmy Hart. He was pretty funny. So they have some funny moments and some, it was kind of cool seeing a little bit more into the wrestling business. So if you like wrestling, you might like it, might not.
We're just up to that one. Then there's WrestleMania Rewind. Another one I wish they would do more of because essentially all they do is take highlights and a few interviews with certain people. And
I've seen a few of those.
Then we got the Beyond the Ring section, which is all the DVDs they released. I'm sure there's more here that they can put up because I know for a fact I got some more DVDs over there that with some of their stuff, but they haven't put up here. But yeah, they got some weird stuff like the 50 greatest finishing moves. Do you really need to put a whole DVD out on the 50 greatest finishing moves?
That's like a video.
Yeah, that's like a 60. That's like a 30-minute. Maybe all right, maybe an hour show that you could do for the network. I don't think it was meant to put that out. Yeah, some really weird stuff's on here. But yeah, there's like every most of the stuff that they put out over the last 10 years, I guess, is up there. But I'm sure there's more stuff that's not up there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Always,
you
always watch the Steve Austin podcast.
Oh yeah, like the one we did with Vince was really good.
Oh, yeah.
The one with Triple H was not as good. Then it was a couple of misses, and Jericho's one not as like. Honestly, I think I think that they make him so happy that he has no choice but to kiss up. But yeah,
I was a little disappointed.
You were a little disappointed with it.
Shane McMahon.
The Mick Foley one, like you sat down with Mick Foley recently. Yeah. That one was a bit.
Like I don't know. I felt like he was holding back. I felt like he wasn't really giving in. And maybe he was. I don't know.
Well, did you see the McMahon documentary?
McMahon? Which one?
The DVD they put out. It was just called McMahon, and it had a picture of. I think it was a young Vince and an older Vince, or something, or it might have been Shane on one side, and
I believe I've seen that.
Yeah, there was in a couple of interviews with him where he turned a bunch of stuff down, and like I think it was for an episode of SmackDown. Like he turned a bunch of stuff down, and Steph ended up doing a lot of the stuff to Linda that they wanted him to do. Like they wanted him to punch out his mom and a few other things that they didn't. He was like just not really comfortable doing.
No.
Then there's of course, yeah. So I think in that kind of interesting, that I can understand why you're saying he held back. I don't think he did. I think he was just like he's kind of like really a family guy, so he just doesn't. I don't think Foley pushed as hard as he could have either. I think you would have had a different interview with if it was Stone Cold. I think
he did better. But I do think I agree with you.
Looking forward to Holy Foley. I gotta say, his daughter is very attractive. And yeah, I didn't like Austin and Foley's thing that they did pre-WrestleMania. I was like, it was a lot of like stuff that we've heard before in various things. I think.
That's the way I felt about the Big Show. I always hear always praise that interview. And like, I don't know. I've heard most of that before with the Big Show and Mick Foley. And,
I honestly think like unless they're willing to do like sit down. I think Paul Heyman would be an interesting one. I think because honestly, I think Paul Heyman would say a lot more, and I think another thing that they should do if they do that is give a full 2 hours
Yeah.
to
Instead of being Brock Lesnar.
yeah, that one was like, oh, like I didn't think it was like somebody said it was like Nutty Rock chick on here was like really pissed off at it. I'm like, she was so pissed off she felt the need to do a video on it, and I'm like, yeah, it was bad, but I don't need to do a video on it. Like to just say it was bad.
Yeah.
Like like if I'm gonna do something, I gotta make. I gotta be at least a 10-minute. If I'm gonna do a rant, it's gotta be at least 10 minutes. I did that on Taxi Driver before I realized, oh, that was the point. Was I was supposed to do a 10-minute rant on the ending of that and how stupid that was.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of the point. Was like it was to make you mad and make you think. I don't know if you've seen Taxi Driver, but yeah, that's like that angry. That's the reaction that they wanted you to have. You probably weren't on, but now they put collections together. Like there's the Becoming the Rock collection. There's the best of Austin versus McMahon. The best of Swerve season 1. The best. Here's an interesting one. The best of the WWE network. I don't know who came up with this decision, but they put this year's WrestleMania. I automatically disagree with that. Agree with this one. The McMahon interview with Austin. Okay, that one I can buy. Ride Along, California Car Ride. Hang on, I don't think I've watched that one. The first part of the Legends with Eric Bischoff and the first part of The War Begins, the Monday Night War series. Thank you, Daniel Bryan. Okay, that one I can see there. The 4th episode of the Edge and Christian show. The Diva Generation, which is like Charlotte, Natalia, and Tamina. The Table for 3. The 2nd episode of Breaking Ground. The 1st episode of the 2nd season of Total Divas. Don't know why that's there. And NXT Takeover Dallas. Okay, so there's some stuff in there I would disagree with, like immediately, like WrestleMania from this year. I can understand why that's there though. Like from a business standpoint, I can understand why it's there. But there's a swerved episode here. I don't know why that's there. Like honestly, that would not be my pick. There was a couple of there that I would say, okay, yes, that's the best of the WWE network. But yeah, the Canadian Collection. I think this just is events that are either involve Canadians or they're Canadian events. China, like immediately after she died, they put a whole bunch of stuff of her together. But I don't think like it's shade moments from her career. So the Playboy moments are there, and her women. The last moment is her winning the women's title. I don't think, honestly, I don't think that was a high point in her career. Like after winning the Intercontinental title and then winning the women's title, kind of not the same thing.
No.
Daniel Bryan's greatest moments, okay, after he retired, that went up. Dusty Rhodes, The American Dream. I'm not going to criticize that because I don't know a lot of the stuff that is there is not like great, is good or bad. DX moments. A lot of their skits and stuff are in here, so that's all right, I guess. The Four Horsewomen. Okay, anything involving them's got to be good. All right, here we go. Here's one. Okay. Greatest matches ever. I'll see if there is a bad one here. Can't see one. As far as WWE ones, I can't. Okay, but guess how many other companies do you? All right, how many other companies do you think they've listed there that had great matches? And how many matches, period, from other companies do you think are there?
So how many? What was that again?
All right, okay, yeah, that there is. Is there an like? Are they all WWE matches? Do you think they're all WWE matches?
Yeah.
No, there is one match from another company there, and it's Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat. Oh no, wait, there's two. No, three. All right, correction, three. They all contain. It looks like they all have Ric Flair involved in them somehow.
I was gonna guess.
No. There's one with Sting. There's one with Sting. Like Goldberg's in there. There's a Goldberg playlist, a Shane McMahon playlist, a Brock Lesnar playlist. New classic content from this month they put up there. The best of John Cena. I think they may have come up with a few moments.
Amazing.
WrestleMania show stealers. Not one from every WrestleMania. I looked at this earlier. But most of them, I think an argument could be made that they were the show stealers of those shows. There's a collection of the War Games matches, which is good to have. I know a lot of people are big fans of the War Games match, so I think they're all there except for the 2001. No. The 2000. It ends with the 98 one. So the 2000 War Games is not there. But that's on the DVD. That's one DVD that's not there. But like understandable because that was like just match couple interview with Dusty and then match stuff. So I understand why that's not on. But yeah, that's a lot of the stuff. I think that's most of the stuff that's on the network. There's the highlight show this week in WWE. So if you ever miss a couple of shows, you can catch up. Both main event and Superstars, I think, are only on the network now. I don't think they're on either of the things. You got the pre-show and Backstage Pass. Is that still running? No, it looks like it ended last year in August. It looks like they might do it occasionally still, but there's the pre-show because we're gonna have a pre-show for Raw every week, and of course there's the network exclusive shows like Roadblock, the big event at Madison Square Garden, Beast from the East, the King of the Ring show. And of course, you got every pay-per-view from WCW, ECW, and up to date with WWE. So as you can see, since you've left, like a lot more content on there. Like,
Night and day.
Sorry?
A night and day difference.
Yeah, because like fairly recently they were like, oh shit, we haven't put up a bunch of shit in a while. Let's put up a bunch of shit. Like hell, there's Smoky Mountain stuff up now. Like I was really not expecting any of that stuff to be up. There's AWA stuff, global wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'll just say, like, hang on, I'll just bring it. Like I think every ECW show that was on Hardcore TV is on, and I think like all the TNN shows went up. There's some Mid South on here. Some WCCW stuff, the Tuesday Night Titans stuff, like, and I love how they positioned Nitro. It's right on the end, so when you come in, you got to go scroll right through all their shit to get to that. They'll put AWA at this end, but WCW's got to go to the other end. I think it's but Clash of Champions is there. Like all the clashes are there. That's really good. But I just love how you got to go through all the WWF stuff or WWE stuff to get to WCW, which is right on the end. Nitro.
Anything to get a little to dig at WCW. Anything to get that little bit of
Yeah, I just think I think it's childish, to be honest. I think I don't like. Clearly, like I think that would be like out of the classic stuff, that would be something you'd want. Honestly, I think like I imagine eventually what they're going to do is have like the company, and you'll go into that section in the vault, and you'll find the individual show that you're looking for. Because initially, when I got the network, I thought, oh, in ring, that's where all the stuff is. Now it's in the vault. Like they put their own show separate. Like all the shows they're running currently now, they got their own thing. But you know, I like what they do, and they give you the first look at things as well. I gotta say that, like when they got a DVD coming out, they show like the first or a half-hour section of the documentary part of whatever they're showing. Like usually it's the first half hour. Like I watched the Razor one, the Razor Ramon one today. That was really quite good, and like there was shit I didn't know. But I've got the on now, and it's from the February 23rd Total Divas thing, and I'm like, Rosa Mendez is crying because I think she realizes her career is pretty much over. Like that's something I've noticed. Women get pregnant, then they end up leaving. Remember Jackie Gator? She got pregnant not too long after she signed with TNA, and then she was never seen or heard from again.
No.
I'm like, oh damn, and that's probably because she became a stay-at-home mom, which is cool. Like I don't mind that, but like that's the thing that happens. I think that's what's like. I think Bree's gone home to do the baby making thing with Daniel Bryan. Yeah. Did you when did you hear about that Daniel Bryan had to retire? Did you hear about the day?
Yeah, pretty much. This is announced it.
That was really sad. I gotta say, like, I
I don't
honestly,
feel like he is actually retired, but he might be. I guess I didn't really, I wasn't sad about it because I thought it was just maybe from WWE. Um,
no, they like it. Like I was really like, it wasn't until I watched like they did a little documentary thing with him. It's in the WWE 24 thing, and I was like convinced that they're keeping him with his contract, but they're not letting him wrestle. And then I found out that um, his head trauma is quite severe. It is quite severe. They sent him to a, a few guys, and then he went to the U-Butte head specialist, and they showed him a scan of his brain. They said, "See this here? You get hit. You get hit hard again, or I think it's something serious, like Chris Benoit territory type stuff that he was actually heading for." So, so he was like, "Yep, that's it. I'm done." Like he cut his hair and everything. So and someone said they saw that once they saw that he cut his hair, they were like, "Yeah, he's done." Um, thing was, he wasn't ready. Like I could tell. I could tell. Like, no, he wasn't ready to go yet. He was getting there. He was getting there. He was getting there. Like, I don't think he. Like, I think he would still have wrestled for a little while longer, maybe five more years, and then he would have been done.
yeah.
But like, because there was a lot of stuff like surrounding that. I was like, mm, mm. But
I'd
you
say
don't
the
have
big,
to bring up the big
I would say the biggest one that hit.
edge.
Yeah, that came a really big spur.
Well, I'd had stuff for a while that he was going to retire, and yeah, I was just like, no, like he was put he was in his last year. He knew that, like he knew that. Like I think there was like a rumor going around he was going to retire at the end of the year or something.
Yeah, it's always
Because
hard.
he'd wrestle.
It's always hard for a wrestler to retire because they're just addicted to it. They're just addicted to the fans, and so it has to be something for them to completely retire.
Christian's the one that I'm like most ticked off about because I don't know what the deal is with him.
No, I don't even know if he is retired for real, or I've just heard like in I can't think of the word. He pretty much just said he is retired without him knowing about it, or something like that. No.
In ring thing. They fired him from the in-ring competing, but I don't know what the deal is. Like, because like when Austin interviewed him, he kind of mentioned that he was done. Like because it was like only just barely mentioned on an episode of SmackDown or something. Like, I'm thinking, why? Like,
Yeah, it's that's crazy. Like, that's right quick.
yeah. Phone interruptions, people. Yeah, they just like. Let the wife get it. Is the missus about?
Yeah, she's at work. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, she pesters if I don't answer the phone every 2 seconds.
Uh,
But yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you and I have not caught up on wrestling for a while, and like you like I'd seen on Facebook that you'd given up on so much. Like, I don't blame you for giving up on TNA because I gave up right after that I found out they let AJ go. I was like,
I lasted a little bit longer, but no.
well, admittedly, I watched their Destination America thing where they came back, and I thought that was all right. But like, then I saw James Storm, and I was like, that's the only original that's left, and he's not looking good, and
He was built terribly, and he looked pretty run down.
Yeah, I just knew they had wasted him. Like there was like waste there. Like I was like, damn, he could have been the man, you know. But they just like it's too late for him now because they've waited so long, and like, and Bobby Roode didn't look much better. I don't know why they're letting Abyss still wrestle. Like honestly, admittedly, the sounds of things with Crazy Steve and Rosemary sound awesome to me because I'm into that dark side stuff. But man, I'm just like, it's not worth tuning in because like there's no one there that I'm like, I've got to see. Like,
yeah.
It has literally become the WWE reject shop.
Yeah.
Like if they had Ring of Honor on over here, I'd probably tune into it. I'd find a way to watch it. But no, like same with Lucha Underground. I'd probably tune into that every week if I could. Like if there was a way I could tune into both of those, I would. Not TNA, not anymore. Like honestly, it's just like it's completely gone to me. They ran that insane tournament that ended up with just Matt Hardy and Ethan Carter the third again in the main event, and I was just like, why? Like I don't know how Full Killer 99 keeps up with that. I don't know how he.
I used to watch Full Killer every single week. He was my favorite reviewer, and I just like, even I'm at this point where I'm like, I want to watch his videos, but all he does is TNA now. I'm like, how can he do it? How can he still watch it?
He does the comic book show rundown. I think he does like it's like Arrow. Like,
yeah, comic book show.
But even I can't keep up with that now because like a lot of that's stuff ticking me off. I haven't watched the rest of like this season of Agents of Shield. I kind of gave up on the Flash and then I heard how that season how the season of the Flash ended. And I was like, well, that makes no bloody sense. I heard the big spoiler for Arrow, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, I had the spoiler for like who's in the grave and that, and I'm like, okay, that didn't really need to be that big of a secret. Because honestly, I think they wrote that in, and then like, well, we don't know we're gonna do it, but we're not sure how we're gonna do it. Oh, I don't know. Have you? This is off topic again. Did you see? I think it was the demise of WCW documentary that Kayfabe Commentaries did with Kevin Sullivan.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay. Like I just like, but for that reason, I think that's why the grave is there. Is like reminds me of the thing that he says in that where they I think it was the network or someone, the head of the network called him in and he said, so what's the big idea? And he's like, he's like, he explains it to him. No, he says, "No, you got to have a big idea." And I think that's why they had to do that grave thing for Flash, for Arrow. And I'm like, "No, you got to have a big idea." And I'm like, I think he said, "Well, what if I think I forget how exactly he puts this away. I build a big fucking wheel, or I like going to call Godzilla in and trash Tokyo or something." I think those were a few of his things, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's like, they do some good stuff. I gotta say that. Like, the Back to the Territories thing with Jim Cornette sounds like a really good thing. I just wish I could afford to watch all their stuff, because the guest booker thing is always, majority of the time, is a really good thing.
Yeah.
I don't watch the Vince Russo one. Oh God. Like I didn't like how Jim Cornette did his, but I could understand it with Vince Russo's. I was like, you're just doing the NWO again. Why are you doing that? Oh God, don't, no, stop. Stop. Like his timeline's like, okay, fair enough. I can understand why you would invite him to those, because like he was big. Like, interested in the '98 one, but I got the 2000 timeline with that he did for WCW. Kind of rushed through the last few months, but his justification for certain things is just like, fuck. Oh, no, stop. Because like, he kind of buries Kevin Sullivan, but I'm like at least I could understand what Kevin has a better idea of like building to the big event thing than he does. He just does shit. Like, I'll give you an example. Okay, so I watched the three shows I've watched. The tag titles have changed hands on every show. They went from Harlem Heat to the Filthy Animals, back to Harlem Heat, and then the next show they went straight back to the Filthy Animals. So I'm like, what the fuck? So, and US title has changed. It went from Sid to Goldberg back to Brett. So it's been on 3 people. It's the same thing. And I'm like, oh God. All right. I've watched 3 episodes of the 2 titles have changed hands 3 times. Oh man. Oh God. So, what's been happening on the Lucha Underground front? Who's champion over there? Because I know they managed to crown a champion, which sounds really cool. Who's champion over there at the moment?
What's his name? Can't think of his name. But basically, it's an abyss-like character. He's a monster. Matanza. There we go. I think that's his name. Yeah, he's just this monster. He won the title on his debut.
Whoa! Dang.
Yeah.
He must be a big deal guy.
Yeah.
He'll
the creator of I guess the character, the GM character type guy. He plays the owner. He's an actor, but he's basically the villain. He runs everything, but he has this evil brother. He's locked up in a cage. And you can picture like the Monster Abyss type character. and he everybody fears him, and then he releases him, and there's just like this Royal Rumble type match where there's a bunch of people and it's elimination based, and then he's like the last man to come out, and he pretty much cleans house and wins the title. It was pretty interesting, and there's been multiple champions. The first was Prince Puma, who's known as Ricochet in New Japan. A lot of indie fans know him as that. And then there was Mil Mortez, who used to be without a mask. He would be called Judas Messias, I think, or however.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But he has a mask on in the Lucha Underground. After that, it was Phoenix. He's a good high flyer. He's kind of similar to early Rey Mysterio, and also Rey Mysterio's in there, and Alberto Del Rio's in there for a while. I have a lot of stars, and Johnny Morrison. He's my favorite.
Yeah, honestly, like, if there were anyone I thought would fit in there, it would be him. I watched the first few episodes. They hadn't crowned the champion when I was watching it. So, this is something Kevin Sullivan said, and I think it makes sense. He said that the world title should be like the Holy Grail. You slay the dragons to get to the Holy Grail, and I think that's really a good way of looking at it, like looking at wrestling. Okay, and he says if you don't build up the heel, who is the dragon, then, and if he's just as lizard, then it's kind of pointless. So I think that's a good way of looking at things. Like, but admittedly, when it was starting, I don't think they were like, well, we need something. But like, I think it was just like showcase talent that was in AAA at the time.
That's what I love about Lucha Underground, about the way they book, is they really make everything meaningful. Everybody has, when the champions book, they're booked strongly, and there's no real jobbers there. There's like everybody at least has a fight they put up with, and they're booked pretty darn good. And that's what there's no waste of space. Everything matters. There's no filler at all.
Yeah, and all the matches are given time, and there's no like even the interview segments, they're not too long. They're long enough.
Yeah.
And I gotta say that, like, I know there's a lot of flippy flip things going on, but like, for what they're doing, that's what they need. Like, because it's a lucha show, and they're like, and yeah, I was just like, cool. Like, good stuff going.
Yeah. Thing about Lucha Underground, one thing I can praise them for, sometimes they know how to showcase everyone. They don't focus on the same, like WWE. They have to have the same people every single week, even when there was like 2 hours. You'd see the same people a lot of the time. And sometimes you'll see like 6 people in this show or whatever, and then you'll see another like brand new people in the next. And then match wise, like you were saying, they give time to the matches. Sometimes there's only one match, and it's like a big match, like that Royal Rumble type match. It's just that one match, but they put all their effort into it and make it as entertaining as possible. So, it's never. I don't know. You don't feel like anything's rushed.
And one thing I got to say, I've heard that they've got their own. They, instead of doing tag team thing, they're doing the 6-person thing, the 6-person tag thing.
Trios tag titles.
Trios. I think that's a good idea, and I think that's a good way to separate themselves from anyone else. That's like a really good thing they're doing. Yeah, like reminds me of the early day in some ways, the early days of TNA when they would have the X Division thing forefront because they had to grow stars, and I don't think once Dixie Carter came in, I don't think she realized she created some stars, and that's why they're in the situation they are in now because she let them all go.
I can. Dixie. Oh.
Yeah. Looking back on it, I think the biggest mistake they made was bringing Hulk Hogan in.
Yeah.
Like they were doing good. They were doing good. They were doing all right. They were doing all right. They weren't lighting the world on fire, but and then Hogan came in and he like the biggest thing he did was like he took them backwards because like it was like a hard reset. He brought in some guys, and by the end of the year, most of those guys were gone. There was some other guys that they had but like he just brought in a bunch of people like Orlando Jordan. Wow. Yeah. He wrecked Eric Young. He took Eric Young back to like their big idea. Oh, he hit his head, and now he's crazy all the time. And now he's crazy again.
They made a lot of questionable decisions since then. I mean, they just really have. But
I was like, come on! Like I had a million of ideas. Like I had it. Like I had like I would bought like in the early days. I'd say like all you gotta do is just do this, and like you can take him back to the bat. Like he could have been like at the time top mid card guy. Like, but they ruined him. Like because like like remember when he was doing the don't fire Eric shit thing. And then they made him a badass right after that with the World Elite, and then they then of course they have him land on his head on an episode of Explosion, and he's back to comedy guy.
Well, he's not in TNA anymore, but when he was the super heel again. But I don't know. I couldn't really buy him the way he was booked. I don't know.
I did. I like it when a guy. I like it when a guy switches things up because I'm like, that's like I know people don't buy it, but I'm like, oh, that's good. Like turn a guy like show a different side of the guy's personality.
I think it was booking more than him. I liked him. I just didn't like the way he was booked. I guess I don't know.
They should have been like I wasn't gonna like I had ways of doing it where it would make sense for him to turn, and then he would do like I think a good way of doing that is like to do the turn and then do a series of sit down interviews with someone and put them on the show and explain direction that the character's taking. I think that's a lost art that's been missed as well as managers. Like I think WWE needs like one or two managers right now apart from Paul Heyman.
I like in they have managers. They're very. They actually affect the show. They have personality. Like there's this manager that makes people famous. Like he's like infamous guy that you dial his like he says his number is like 923 get fame, and it pretty much is his little promos would be like commercials, and then he would get wrestlers and under his wing and try to get them famous. And he put a lot of comedy into it, and I don't know, he just added personality to wrestlers that didn't have any personality. And got other managers who are wrestlers they're actually wrestlers, but they just always like follow them to the ring and actually, so they're not just a talk piece. They can do their own thing, and I like that. And they're very good.
Yeah, there is ways of doing it without it going too far overboard. Like even if you want to get, I think Eva Marie would make it a good foil if she did like because honestly I don't see her as a top wrestler ever. Like I think she's more of the ballet type as opposed to the wrestler type. I don't think everyone in the wrestling business has to be a wrestler. I think that's the biggest mistake they've made.
What I like about TNA in 2014 and what I like about Lucha Underground is when they only showcase their strengths. Like Bobby Lashley, when he was champion, or he is champion now, I guess, but when he was first champion when I was actually watching TNA, they didn't have him talk. They don't have to have everyone talking. They can have him just kill people in the ring and then, have somebody either talk for him or he'll just say bare minimum stuff. I like that. That's the way booking should be. They should book people more wisely. They shouldn't have people like AJ Styles going out there and talking for back and forth, for an hour.
I think AJ's promo skills have come a long way since.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think Roman, they need to do what you're saying, what they did with Bobby Lashley. Have him talk very little and then just come out and spear people.
Yeah.
Really easy. Really easy booking. But obviously they can't do that at the moment because Roman's suspended because he violated the wellness policy. Now we don't know how. Someone brought up something that he might have not done anything wrong and still had violated it. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I don't.
I heard Dean Ambrose is champion finally. That's cool. I thought he should have been champion a long time ago. But WWE, they don't like to push anybody.
Well, unless their name is John Cena or Roman Reigns. I honestly
relationship.
I make the comparison. Granted, he hasn't got the personality of it, but Roman is clearly like I know he's Samoan and everything, that they clearly want to make him the Rock, but I don't think he's the Rock. I think he's more Goldberg, to be honest, now that I think about it. Seth Rollins is more Shawn Michaels, and Ambrose is definitely in the class like anti-hero type guy. Reminds you of a certain guy that used to drink a lot of beer.
Yeah. I think that's why
Austin. So look at that. They got a Goldberg, they got a Shawn, and they've got their new Austin. I was like, they got those guys, and I think honestly, looking like you could definitely build a company around those guys. And did you hear that they're doing another draft?
Yeah.
Do you think it could work?
Better than what they're doing now.
I honestly think okay. I don't know if they should do this, but I think the women's division, if they're going to fill that 3 hours, is going to have to be exclusively Raw.
Yeah. I was against the draft at first or years ago, but like I said, it's better than what they're doing now. I mean, I don't really like the idea of 2 shows, but I would rather have them split up the creative roster, creative.
Yeah.
There's too much.
And you know what I would do To be honest, I'd split the creative team, cut it down to five, maximum of 5 people each.
Yeah.
Like one person gets 5 people, and the other one gets 5 people. We'll release the rest of the riders because you need some sort of focus. Have 2 guys at home watching and observing and commenting every week, reporting back to the other 2 riders. Say, okay, where are you going with this? Okay, and if it tracks, if it's tracking on the show, you have a guy there spare just in case the other ones get one of the other ones gets sick or something.
Mm.
All right. Yeah, and every year switch the 2 guys out that you haven't run the show, and have the other 2 observe, and then just restart everything. And obviously make the 2 shows very different from one another. Okay, if you want to run, I'd run the SmackDown a little bit more closer to PG, but like on the fringes, not like. Yeah, kind of like in that, like not necessarily that so, and I would have Raw focus more on the older audience, sort of thing. And I also had the idea, like before they announced that both shows were going live, maybe have if you eventually want to transfer someone to Raw, but at least give them the pre-taped thing, so they're not entirely exposed. Like, because initially when John Cena came up, he wasn't as good as he was on SmackDown because he didn't have that crutch of not being live. So that like, and during and once he showed up on Raw, John Cena completely changed. Like before, like he had that really bloody match with JBL at Judgment Day that year, and then came to Raw, and then they were like, they took his balls away. They made him a generic flag waving babyface.
Yeah.
And like honestly, fuck that.
That was the beginning of being a WWE fan.
Yeah, I went away and like I went away and I was like, fucking, I'm a TNA guy. I'm a TNA guy, and I like. There were times there I might have been a bit of a prick, but then I came around and realized, oh no, they're never gonna really overtake them, especially anytime soon, because they keep just shooting themselves in the foot all the time. Came back around. Now I'm a WWE guy because like TNA just finally like stuck it to themselves because they fired their one guy that I thought would actually do some good.
They just don't have any direction whatsoever right now. I just don't have any reason to watch it. Like they're just drifting right now. I don't think they have any direction.
I wouldn't go. I think they have a. I think Paul Heyman had the right idea. Like, have you seen? I don't know if you've seen the MMA. Like, he did an interview on an MMA show a while back when they're going to actually. And he said they're trying to serve too many masters and they're not looking to the future. And I think he was right about that. I honestly think they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I think instead of chasing those ratings, they should be like, okay, who's our top guy? Who can we build up? And I honestly think Ethan Carter is definitely the way to go. and I think they're doing a good job of protecting him, as far as I know. Because I don't watch the show, so okay, I put all. I don't know if they were having him work babyface, but if they're not, I would at least see, like, I wouldn't. I would get him to cut, not for the audience, just for me. I get him to try and cut a babyface promo. Uh, and, and if it works, let's see how they respond to it. The audience responds to it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would let. Uh, honestly, I would start de-emphasizing the Hardys, de-emphasizing a lot of the older talent.
That's kind of what is turning me off of TNA. Just the Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy stuff. Just.
Brother Nero. I heard that. I'm like, fuck, they're gone. Like, I don't, like, I never, like, of all the Hardy Boys matches against one another, I've never seen a good one. None, not a great one at least.
I can't think.
No, I honestly can't think of it. Like, no, I don't think they are. I don't think there has ever been a money like them and the Dudley Boys. I don't think there's ever been money drawn for them facing each other.
I think back in Bound for Glory last year when they made Matt Hardy champion, I think that was like when everybody said, "There's no hope," and I don't know.
We have a question. We have a question. Okay. Simply Corny 24 Corny. Okay. Mate, we're gonna answer your question. He says he's asking the question, do you think Hardy, I assume Matt or Jeff, will be back in WWE for the draft? Well, there's always a possibility, mate. There's always a possibility. I
This taped months in advance.
Yeah, like I heard that like James Storm was working for WWE and they were showing some of his matches from the tournament that they were doing at the time, and like his contract lapsed, but that he ended up coming back.
Jeff Hardy's been sober for a while now. I think.
Okay, we got another question from the same guy. Rumors those old talents are coming back. I want to see Carlito. I want to see Carlito too.
I really enjoyed Carlito versus Shelton Benjamin. That was a really good match on. I think it was ECW. And
no, I think it was Raw, man. I think that was Raw. Like
maybe.
That was it's always good. Like Carlito. I always thought he had cut a great promo. I saw him as the next. I honestly saw him as the next Roddy Piper.
Like, at first, I didn't like him at all. I didn't like him at all the first first year or so, and then he grew on me. I don't know. He just kind of developed.
I liked his intro. Like something. He had that shoulder injury early on. When he came back from that, I was like, "That's my man." I think if it weren't then, it was definitely when he came to Raw. He came to Raw and boom.
Them as the Cologne, pretty good. That was a pretty good tag team.
He was a personality. I don't think Primo and Epico, I don't think they've ever had that Carlito magic. I think Carlito was the star of the family. Like he's definitely got the personality and all that. I think he needs to come back to get the personality out of those two. I think they're pretty good. They're decent in-ring workers. I just don't think they've ever been given the chance to show their personality. Like I heard a interview with them on Jericho's podcast, and I was like, these two sound like pretty cool guys. He left another comment and he said, I think Carlito will be great with the Shining Stars. Yeah, but that's just what I was talking about there. Yeah, just damn man, those guys are floundering. I heard, like from what I hear, they're not doing good. I was like, finally, they're back as Primo and Epico, and nothing. Like
Yeah.
I don't think those guys can find a gimmick that works for them. Right? I think Carlino needs to come in and just like, dude, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
um,
I do hope the draft they bring a lot of old people back. That would be interesting to see. Just,
I think that there are like bring MVP back. I don't mind bringing him back. Shelton, I'd have to see him to be honest to figure it out. RVD's like 45 now, and sorry.
I haven't seen Shelton Benjamin since ROH when Charlie Haas retired.
Yeah, I was like, oh man.
No wait, I think he was at Wrestle Kingdom 9. I don't know. I think he was.
He might have been. I had the idea like way back after they both when both these guys were on SmackDown and they were trying to push them as singles, and I said no, they should team them up, and they actually teamed over in Japan. It was Charlie Haas and Mark Jindrak. I know Jindrak is with AAA or CMNL now, but man, back then I was like, okay, team them up because both like honestly, I think I have talent for that, like making up tag teams, like because I also had the idea one point of teaming Chavo up with Carlito because like at that time neither one of them were doing nothing. I was like, come on, man, just put some teams together. Because at that time there was no like real cool tag teams, and like I had a bunch of ideas for stables as well, and I was like, yeah, I should like put me on the writing team. Man,
One thing I don't like about WWE, one thing that kind of threw just never, I can never watch too much WWE because it's just it's only about the main event scene, and tag teams they're just there for filler, and they don't have a cruiserweight division or a hardcore division or a mid card division. Ugh.
one thing I gotta give Russo credit for is he made sure in WWE that even those guys meant something. Like everything meant something.
Yeah.
Like there's no like fair enough. Like there was a degree to which everyone was over. Like it was clear that Rock, Austin were the top stars. Then it was Triple H, maybe depending on when you're talking. Undertaker and Kane, that was the main. That was the main event scene. Then you had Jericho, eventually the Radicals, and of course there was the varying degree of however each one of those guys was. But I guess they weren't there. Like Jericho came like right as Vinny Rue was leaving. But he made sure everyone meant something. Like it was clear that Draws and Albert and Godfather and all that were like at the bottom of the card.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, like all that and like Kai and Ty were at the very bottom of the card.
Evil.
And he didn't do that, but man, like what the hell, man? Taka couldn't wait to get back to Japan. He went back to Japan, and boom, he was a superstar again.
Yeah.
Funaki's still hanging around, but he's doing commentary now for the Japanese thing. I'm like, finally, they found something for him to do. He just had to retire to do it. Number one SmackDown announcer.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. I was trying to think of what he was. The number one something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I gotta say that like it's pretty clear who Russo was pushing in these WCW days that I'm watching right now, because he clearly likes the animals. He clearly likes Brett, and he because like everything like a large portion of stuff is revolving around filthy animals on these shows and the revolution. Like a good chunk of the show is on these shows I'm watching. It's filthy animals versus the revolution. It's clearly the rivalry he wants to push, and I'm like, I can understand why. Like like there's like great matches there, no worries, but the flipping the title every week is like it's eventually it will stop me. Like it stops meaning it. It's start like
I think the only way they can go back and forth with the titles if both people are the best, and they just have these 5-star matches back to back to back to back. Just have this like that's the way I picture it. Like basically, just it still means something. It's just you don't know who the title should go on because they're both so damn good. You know, and they should make it feel that way. They should book it that way. People should see that.
yeah, we have to have two guys that are so like you could believe that between Austin and Rock.
Yeah.
Or there was a time when you could believe that between Mankind and Rock, because there was a time where it did that. But like, I wouldn't even do that. But like, I wouldn't do it within like a day, unless one of the guys was hurt, and I was like, "Damn, I got to get the belt off you." Like, I wouldn't have even take. I would have like announced like even when once he got hurt, they Seth Rollins. I said, why don't you just have Sheamus come in, big bro kick him, pin him 1, 2, 3 in the ring, and then take the belt off him? Or have Sheamus just hit him like really lightly and cover him 1, 2, 3, and walk away with the belt. That's what the Money in the Bank was for. Unless your name's Mr. Kennedy, where you lose it in a match for some bizarre reason. Yeah, like I hear that they're bringing back like for the network. They're doing these network specials, brand exclusive things, and I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Like making minor house shows like that you want to showcase, like get people to buy the network, but not do big major shows that you should build up to. Like keep the big four like their combo shows, right? And then in between you do those other shows. Figure out a schedule around it. I even had the idea of like switch off with the WWE Championship, which guy you want to, which brand gets what major show or something. So it's at least even. So like 2 go to Raw, 2 go to SmackDown, and you switch it. But like, because I would have done it had I not had I wanted to do it. Like I even had the idea, like beginning of the year, whoever wins the Rumble, whichever guy wins the Rumble, they get first pick in the main event at WrestleMania. Like whichever brand that guy lands on, they get the next show, and that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you switch to the next, the other brand for SummerSlam, because there's always that lull in the middle of the year. Like, but now that you got Money in the Bank, and that's a pretty big show right in the middle of the year, it's kind of filled that King of the Ring spot. I wouldn't know what to do. Like, I wouldn't know whether to keep Money in the Bank or not. But man, you don't want to add too much to the schedule.
I do not like gimmick.
You do not like gimmick shows.
Yeah, I don't really sell TLC, stuff like that.
No, I do like Money in the Bank would like that. That would be the only like thing that would be there. Like, it's a guaranteed ladder match. I'd get rid of like I would get rid of Hell in a Cell. I'd change back to No Mercy or Unforgiven or something like that. Night of Champions I'd scrap. I'd bring back some of the WCW pay-per-views, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like for Brawl, because you own the rights to them. Clash of the Champions, like they want to bring that back. Cool. Oh God. What else? They did Road Wild, but you wouldn't want any, like, you don't need to bring that back. Yeah, like what else do they have? Super Brawl, Uncensored, stuff like that, man. Capital Carnage.
Oh yeah.
Mayhem. World War III.
World War III.
Yeah, they had some pretty goofy names, but man, they made that shit work.
Yeah.
Halloween Havoc, definitely. I'd bring back Halloween Havoc.
Favorite name, I guess.
Well, like October would be a great time. Like it's a fun, goofy show. Like, wrestling can be goofy, but like once everything gets in the ring, it has to be serious. Like, it has to be.
Definitely.
And I tell you what, I had a bunch of ideas how to turn Eugene heel and like make that shit, change him back into Nick Dinsmore. Had a bunch of ideas how to do that. I would have made that shit work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I think even Eric Santa Maria said, once he makes that switch, man, he's the baddest man in the whole place. Yeah, like, because you just have to figure out a way to do it, where you turn them heel and this thing, and then you have them sit down and call everyone fool, and how you were working them like crazy, and God, you're like like, it's why you make shit work. It's, you don't like if you don't like. I'm not opposed to having a sit down interview with someone to build up to a big match or something. Where I think if you have segments on the show, there has to be a point behind each and every one of them. Like, not like Vince Russo, who just does shit because it might make you laugh. Anyway, how long have we been talking? We've been talking for a while. Probably nearly an hour. Oh, I lost him. Okay, guys, I think that's it. Thanks for listening. We'll be back another time, I guess.